And action.
Mamma mia, that's a spicy meatball.
Cut. The accent.
Huh?
Cut. Cut.
Take 59.
And action.
Mamma mia, that's a spicy meatball.
Hey, well, thank goodness I'm only making this sauce today. Hi, I'm Dano, and today I'm going to be making probably one of the best tasting tomato sauces that I've ever tried. So stick around and we'll get right to it. The ingredients I intend to use for today will be a 15-ounce can of crushed tomatoes, 14-ounce can of chicken broth, about 4 ounces of mushrooms that have been rinsed and strained, 1/4 cup of red wine, a good red wine, fake salt because I'm trying to keep the sodium content low, pinch of pepper, 1/2 teaspoon of thyme and oregano, 1 teaspoon of dried basil, 1 tablespoon of dried parsley, 1/2 an onion roughly chopped, teaspoon of sugar, and then about 4 to 5 cloves of garlic will round out our list of ingredients. There, that should do us quite nicely. Like most things in this world, the sauce is actually pretty easy to make, but getting a good camera angle to show you what's going on is much more difficult. I'll begin, and I have to find it, by adding a little bit of olive oil to the pan. I'm going to let that, about a tablespoon or so, I'm going to let that heat up to medium high. That's what I've got this set on. And that'll take it about a minute or two. While that's going on, I'm going to grab my onions, which I've already chopped. Here we go. I don't know if you can see them very well or not, but they're pretty good shape. They white onion, you can use yellow if you want. I'm going to begin by taking our onions and garlic. The garlic will get a quick chop. I've already peeled them. I'm just going to go ahead and give them a quick grazing chop, as they call it. And we're going to add that into the pot, which is getting warm now. I can feel the heat. Probably have a flash fire here because you never know when I'm cooking what's going to happen. So we'll go ahead and throw that in there. Well, that's just the right temperature. If you don't have a hot plate and you've got an RV, by all means get one. They're great little guys to have around. Because you can take them, put them on a patio, put them in the RV, do whatever. I'm going to give that a quick stir. And I'm now going to add my onions. Get those going. What we're looking for here is just a point. It'll take about 3 minutes or so to get them into a translucent stage. Okay. These onions will reduce quite a bit, shrink as they cook over the course of the full time of preparation here. Okay, we've been about roughly 5 minutes and they've gotten to the color, just a light brown, especially the garlic here. The onions are getting to be a little bit translucent. Once again, as you're making a dish, it's up to your own expertise and mood you're in as to how you want something to proceed. I'm going to take my wine, and this is a called a Merlot, a red wine. I'm just going to add that. I'm putting in about a 1/4 cup. There, we're going to let that reduce a little bit. Nice color. We're over medium-high heat. I'm going to just come down just a little bit on the heat. We're letting the alcohol obviously boil off. and allowing that to reduce for a few minutes. The chef might have a little bit of wine here on the side, we don't know yet. Okay, it's been a few minutes, so we've boiled off most of the liquid. As we can see, we have almost like a syrup going in there. I'm going to add the sugar, about a teaspoon. Use your own judgment. Okay, as that thickens up, I'm going to go ahead and open up my 15-ounce can of crushed tomatoes, just a generic brand. If you choose, you can use low sodium. I'm using just regular. Not sure how much sodium is in it, probably more than I would care to know. I'm going to add that to the onions, wine, and sugar, and a little bit of oil solution. Give it a stir. And we're really just going to let this come up to heat. There we go. And in short order now, we're ready for our can, about 14 ounces of beef broth. Add that. When you add this, it'll seem like an awful lot of liquid. 14 ounces is a lot of liquid. And now this, as you can see, doesn't look anything at all. Looks more like soup than it does a thick and zesty tomato sauce or a spaghetti sauce. But what we're going to be doing is letting this reduce under a simmer for an hour to an hour and a half to 2 hours, depending on how low a simmer you have it. And it will reduce magically because we're going to leave it uncovered into a very, very nice sauce. Now, at this time, I'm going to go ahead and add my aromatics, which will be, in this case, a little bit, this is salt. I'm just going to season this very lightly with fake salt, potassium chloride instead of sodium chloride. Add just a teeny bit of pepper. And I'm not using ground, I'm using fresh out of the can. You can do whatever you want to do in your kitchen. This is, what is it? It's oregano and thyme I'm going to add right here, about a quarter teaspoon each. Get that in there. That'll give it a kind of a spaghetti sauce flavor. You can tell this is an amateur video. Next we're going to add basil. This is dried basil, about a teaspoonful. Basil, it goes together with any kind of tomato dish. Just a beautiful, beautiful flavor, deep herbal flavor. Then, we're getting close to the end, we're going to add our parsley. You can see how easy this stuff all goes together. No big deal. If you used fresh tomatoes in this particular deal, fresh out of the garden, whatever, and you'd crush them and all that, you would be spending quite a bit more time in the reduction process. But because I've got a processed crushed tomato, this moves along quite nicely. So we're talking, in this case, probably about an hour, hour and a half under simmer conditions. Finally, we're going to add our mushrooms that I've already rinsed and drained, and those are going to go in there. It's about 4 ounces. And unless I forgot something, that is it. We will now let this, through the magic of time-lapse photography, will reduce, and we'll see how that looks in an hour or so. Well, it's been about an hour or so. Our sauce is thickened up, and my golly, I'd say that's just about done. What do you think?